led me to this moment.
Let's do it.
I find that everything in my life led me to this moment. Led me to a moment of self-expression. Led me to a moment of realizing that I can do and be anything that I set my mind to. And I like it here. And I definitely thank God for my gifts. And now it's time for me to be able to shine and share that with the world. I'm super excited about this podcast. I'm super excited about this place that I'm in. Happiness has finally found its way to me, and I'm here to share it with everybody. Namaste and Ashe.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guess what today is? It is Friday. It is Sugar Trash Podcast Day. And y'all, listen, before I even introduce myself, let me just introduce this queen right here, y'all. I am just so Star Trek. Y'all don't even understand. I am so excited. Y'all, this is Mama Goddess. This has got to be like one of my most favorite people that I follow her on TikTok, and she has immensely blessed my life. And so I wanted to share her with everybody and with all of you. So this is Mama Goddess. She is just a very profound person. Very intuitive. If your life not right, she's gonna get it together for you. She gonna get you straight. She's gonna tell you what she hears, what she sees, and hopefully you follow what she says. If not, there's gonna be some problems, right? But my name is Beatrice. I'm just saying, you're getting us together around here. I mean, one person at a time. One person at a time around here. So you guys, my name is Beatrice Lee. I am doting wife to Curtis Lee Jr. and fur mom to Maxwell and Jonathan Lee, and I am an entrepreneur. I love all things business, and this podcast is just definitely one of those things where I can be myself. So today's topic, you guys, is going to definitely be a good old doozy, but I hope y'all ready. Buckle your seats, y'all. Buckle your seats, okay? So today we are talking about why people are choosing spirituality over textbook Christianity. BJ, don't start talking about who's Curtis. He knows who that is. I don't even know why. He gets in my comments and does too much. He knows who he is. Don't play. So, Mama Goddess, I want to start by asking you. My first question is, what made you change your thought process about the church? Because I don't want to come at with a harsh question like, why'd you leave the church? Like, because I think that's kind of rude, right? So I want to say, what changed what you think of the church? What changed what your view of the church is and was?
For me, I think it started when I was in middle school, when I would ask certain questions and those questions wouldn't get answered. It was those questions, those answers would be, you don't ask questions, you don't question God, and those are not the type of questions that you need to ask.
Yeah.
All the answers you need are in the Bible. And I was like, that's not enough for me. But I'm a child, stay in the child's place. But I've always been intuitive, just didn't know how to articulate what I was feeling, thinking, and hearing. So that's what kind of started it for me.
Okay. See, I have a sub question to that. So how do you feel when someone So how do you feel when someone tells you to go to the Bible, knowing what you know now? Knowing what you know now about the Bible, like how do you feel when someone tells you about that book? Like you have to constantly refer to it. Like just, I mean, I know how I feel, but I just want to know how you feel about that.
Yeah. Well, as a child, going to the Bible we came up in the day of internet, but internet wasn't interneting like internet is interneting now.
Exactly.
We didn't have Google like that, so we can go back and reference things. All we had was the accordions or the little definitions or dictionary or whatever at the end of the Bible to look up, phrases. But even those phrases didn't make sense, so I didn't know what I was supposed to be looking up in the Bible to get whatever answers for the questions that I had. All I was taught was to just read it from Genesis to Revelations, and you're going to find what you're looking for. but I never found what I was looking for. I found what I was looking for through what I was taught, but not from the questions that I had. So that's what made like the difference for me. Versus now, I believe it or not, I'm all the way out of the church, clearly into my spirituality.
Yes.
However, I still use the Bible as a reference. As a matter of fact, I have a video coming up where I will be referencing the Bible,
and
because the Bible is still Bible is still relevant in spirituality. We just don't take on everything that's in the Bible. Just like any other book that you would read, you're not going to make it your life goal. You're not going to just ascribe to that particular book. You're going to take pieces out of that book that resonates with you and then leave the rest.
Yes.
So that's what people have put in so much of everything in the Bible. Like the Bible is the be all end all and nothing else matters. So anything outside of that is like, ooh, you know? So like I said, I still use the Bible. When I first came out of Christianity, I wanted to burn all the Bibles. Just get a whole pit fire because we don't need them. You know, there's nothing else in there for us to talk about. But as I'm growing and learning in my spirituality, because it's a journey, so I'm constantly learning, constantly growing, that the Bible is very much still a good reference for you to have.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I will make this comment, like a lot of, because we'll go into that into the questions, but a lot of people, when they hear the word hoodoo, they get a little uncomfortable, right? And then when someone is more educated on all religious backgrounds, right? It's like, well, you're doing the same exact thing I'm doing, right? If you have that Bible and hey, Katie, hey, that's my friend from California. I've known her since forever.
Hi,
she's so sweet. So sweet. When you have, like, when you tell your grandmother, like, hey, I'm having this problem, right? And she says, go to this scripture and use it for this, and then use it in this way. I'm like, well, that's the same thing that we do in hoodoo. The same exact thing to a T. Like, I didn't even know I had someone teaching me hoodoo indirectly in the church. She kept saying, when you have a problem, put their name in the Bible. Now, she never got into like what scripture, but she said, if you ever have a problem, write their name, put it in the Bible, and leave it there. Never to come out again, you know? And I never knew what that was, but baby, that Bible was thick. Mine was thick.
All of the names.
Yes, with names. And every time I got mad, I'm like, oh, I'm going to put her in there. And I'm going to leave it. God going to deal with her, right? You know, and just never really understood the background of it. So a lot of times I'm like, I shake my head. Like when, you know, a lot of people don't know, like, I used to sing on the praise team. I came from a mega church, you know, and sang on the praise team, and you're almost royalty when you sing, when you're up there, because my family was one of the founders of the church. So, you know, you never came down the stairs to, you know, to mix with the commoners down there because you're up here, and it shouldn't be that way in church. Right. But there were certain statuses that you had in the church. And I find, and I don't know how you feel about that, but I find that you're going to lose more people that way than trying to get them to gain an understanding, you know, of what a life of spirituality and loving God is, right? So this is what follows me into this next question. Why do you think people consider spirituality evil?
Well, I want to piggyback first before I answer that question. I want to piggyback on the praise and worship team aspect of it. I can relate because I was on the praise worship team as well.
Yeah.
And we went to different churches and sung and stuff like that. Like for the church that I was at, they was like special requesting our praise and worship team.
Ours
because
too.
It turned into a business. It wasn't even like, you know, we were just doing it because we just enjoy what we do. But it was like, you have to sound like this. You have to look like this. You have to do this, do this, do this. And whatever you're posting on social media, you can only post this. It was almost like an NDA, but not NDA type thing.
Dress codes and everything.
If you're going to do whatever, don't post it because you don't want to, you know, make people. So, you know, being in the church, you are not allowed to be pregnant and not married.
Right.
That was me. And one of the things that, I was coming out of my divorce, and you know how that happens, get under, leave one man, get up under another one. When you and I was still, trying to be in church, doing all the things.
Yeah.
To piggyback off the, people put you on a pedestal.
Yeah.
What the pastor told me was that I wasn't. I had to take a sabbatical, but not because of the sake of me just having a child, but because it didn't look good on the church. It didn't look good on the church to be up there and not married. But who knew that I was married unless she was walking around telling people that I wasn't married.
Exactly.
But to me, if we're talking spirituality and we're doing everything spiritual, you would say, oh my God, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Tell her age.
She can speak freely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because with Sugar Trash, that's the whole part. You just got to let your inhibitions down, and we're not going to care what people think, right? Because this is my show. I run this, right? So if y'all got something to say about Mama Goddess, you can see me. My inbox. I got you. I already have all these community violations. What's one more? I mean, at this point, what's one more? What's one more?
To me, if we were walking in spirituality, and if we was really, talking about the love of God, that would be more of, if you're really trying to get the people in, that would be more of winning souls over. Oh my God, she's pregnant, but she's still up here worshiping God. I love that, even though she's still pregnant, because I see that God forgave her, then God can forgive me, in the sense of, forgiveness and stuff like that. Right. God can forgive me. That would be even more of a witness to people. But because of the church and its standards, it was, no, you got to sit down because you, But then again, when I come back, people want to ask, where you been? Why haven't you been up there?
Yeah.
People aren't dumb. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been, to me, that would have been even more of a message to be sharing with others, that if God did it for her, she can do it. He can do it for me too.
Right.
But that's what happens. That's one of the things that happens in the church. And then to go into your next question, what was it? Why do you feel?
Why do people consider spirituality, we'll say African spirituality, why do they consider it to be evil? When we know that all of the Christianity, all of the denominations center from that. So why do they consider why do they consider it to be evil?
Well, from my personal knowledge and research, it all stems from the colonizers, for the sake of a better word.
Yeah.
It all started from the colonizers when they took our people from Africa to be slaves. Now, let me be clear. We were already slaves, but how we were being treated by our own people was not as nearly as grotesque as the colonizers were treating us. And so in Africa, and different tribes in Africa, they had their own type of African spiritual practices that they practice for protection, for love. Everything that hoodoo is essentially around hoodoo, everything that hoodoo is, and voodoo, and all of the other spiritual practices. But for hoodoo specifically, was okay. So here's the distinction: voodoo is what you need for initiation. Not everybody can practice voodoo. Hoodoo, everybody can practice. You don't need to be initiated. So that is the difference between the two.
Yes. Now, when you say everybody, the others, no. Did you just sip on that? And we sip, y'all. If you don't have indigenous blood, do not mess with your life like that. I'm serious. If you do not possess indigenous blood, do not think you can practice hoodoo. That is very dangerous. People have died.
That's not for you.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
If you don't have it in your bloodline anywhere, and you don't have to be a specific race to practice, but it's just in your bloodline, because our bloodline mixed with their bloodline. So it could be somewhere down in your bloodline. But if you're not, don't play with it.
Yeah.
And this is just a warning to anybody. Don't play with it.
Yeah.
If you're not being called, if you're not being led, you're just doing this because it's a trend.
Right.
That no.
Don't. A young lady lost her life
Um,
behind that. So we're just, I hope she's at peace, but she lost her life behind it. So you
mhm,
don't play around like that at all.
mhm.
At all.
And so the reason why it became evil is that when they brought us over, we were still secretly practicing our spiritual African practices.
Hmm.
A lot of the times, those African practices were to protect themselves, which means a
Yes.
lot of the colonizers died. So
Mhm.
anybody who was caught practicing these spiritual practices were put to death, and
Yes.
they made it seem that it was something evil. So over the time and over the years, oh, it was witchcraft, it was this, it was that, is that, is that, is that. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But
Yeah.
this is all based off of how Christianity started and what it has come to be, and that same ideology was passed on from century to century to century,
Mhm.
and this is why people fear it. But
Yes.
yeah, that's why.
Yeah, like it could be a whole nother subject matter
Yeah.
on that,
Hmm.
I know for me, when I decided that my mental health was taking a beating, being in church, like it was bad. I found myself not wanting to get up to go, because the night before, like I'm one of those people. I got Virgo in my placement, so I got to be prepared for everything, right? Like I have to be, and if I'm not prepared, you're throwing me off. I can't get it together fast, right? So if you tell me the night before, well, what are we singing? Well, why didn't we discuss this last week?
Right.
Like hold on, and then
Hmm.
being from the West Coast, they sing different songs down here in the South. Some songs I'm like, I never heard that song before. They're like, well,
Hmm.
how? We didn't sing this song, so I don't know what this
Hmm.
song is, So
Hmm.
I'm sitting here looking crazy, like I don't know this song, so I'm just gonna clap and
Yeah.
try to catch the chorus,
Yeah. Right.
It was bad. And I remember crying the night before having to go to church. And I was like, I can't do this no more. I'm like, I can't. And I think a big moment for me was when my husband decided to stop coming. Because they thought that if they had me, they had my husband. Well, my husband is the head of my household. So as long as you have my husband, you have me. But the minute that he leaves, I leave too. So it was a couple Sundays, my husband was like, I'm not going, and I'm like, okay. And my husband is always supportive of everything that I do, And so it was one day where, you go to the altar, and they asked all the women to lay hands, and against my better judgment, I went down there, and my ancestors was like, if you touch that woman, you ain't gonna be right. I did it anyway. I was down for 2 days. I mean, she just sucked the life out of me, and I was like, I am tired, like I'm like, oh my God, and so after that, it was just more of a mental thing. I was like, I don't want to be here. I just don't want to be here. Like, God, God, look, I need you to remove me from this situation. I don't care how you do it, but I can't be here because I can't walk in here because I feel the spirits in here. I'm seeing spirits that are not sitting in. I know that's not a human, and I'm just sitting up here looking.
Right.
One Sunday I had a full-on panic attack. I couldn't stand up. I was just locked in the corner sweating. And she was like, get up. I was like, I can't move, and she was like, okay, just sit there. I knew it was time to go. But I was afraid to tell my dad about it because he's a minister. My grandfather was a bishop, and my great grandmother was a voodoo priestess. And so I'm like, they're gonna be mad as hell at me for leaving church. He gonna be mad. And my dad was like, and my dad called me Beatrice, but don't none of y'all call me that. He was like, Beatrice, just leave.
Oh.
Yes, that's what he calls me. When he being serious, that's what he calls me. And he was like, he's like, leave. He's like, you a grown married woman. He was like, if you don't feel right being there, you need to leave. So I took a 30-day sabbatical, more like a 60-day, and I still wasn't willing to come back. So I quit,
Yeah.
I quit, So, I mean, I'll say this, and I'll repeat what my husband says. We don't have to go to a building to know God, but we need to live the life that is pleasing, right? Because God is above all things. Like we're not, in spirituality, we're never denying that God is above all things. It's just that when you step into yourself and man starts controlling what you think, what you do, what you say. Now you've taken God out of it.
Right.
Now this is no longer a place of worship. This is a place of control.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, and the pastor of the church, wonderful speaker, knew the Bible front and back. Like he would pretend to be reading it. And I used to joke with him every Sunday. I'm like, now why are you pretending to read that Bible when you know you memorized it? You're not reading. I'm looking at you. You're not reading it. You know that who memorizes the Bible?
The Bible. That is a lot of words to memorize.
He knows when I say I am impressed, he knows it front and back, and it has remembered it. So I was like, you're making everybody look bad because you could just spew it out with no problem, right? And he had nothing to do with it. It was the building. I couldn't be there. I couldn't be there, So I was like, yeah, let me go because this ain't gonna work. This not gonna work. No. So then that's gonna lead me into this next question. Do you think people know that they're doing the same practices as someone who practices spirituality? Do you think they're even aware?
For the ones who have been deeply indoctrinated, no, I don't think they know at all.
Okay.
That's just my Mark machine.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, all right.
I'm like, what you see? Like, wait a minute. Like, hey, all right.
What's going on here? No, we're good.
Oh, right.
No, people, from what I've encountered, the different people that I have encountered who are heavily in the church, they don't even realize that they are literally doing the same practices. Yeah. They have been conditioned to think that what they're doing is Jesus led, Jesus filled, God this, and God. And when I say God, I mean like God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, Christianity.
Yes.
They don't realize that it derived from, hoodoo practices and how it came to be.
Yes.
I can go on and on talking about this subject, but to answer your question, no, I don't think they realize. I don't think they realize.
Yeah, because
because you have.
Go ahead.
Could you have some people who the 7-day Adventists, they don't talk, they stay in the First Testament.
Yes.
And they dabble sometimes in the New Testament.
Right.
But then you have Christianity who kind of goes into both, but they read the New Testament as what's, and apply it to modern day, and then the Old Testament, or we just use that as a reference. We don't talk about that Bible at all. We don't do the things that they did because Christ came and did away with all of that. So it's just like, okay, but it's okay for you to take on. Could you tell us to read the Bible?
Yes.
From Genesis to Revelations.
Yeah.
But you're only picking apart what feels good, what applies, what makes sense, for you.
Exactly.
And for what you're trying, and your message that you're trying to convey. So is really confusing for somebody who's really trying to follow, or somebody who's new to Christianity. They don't really know what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
So what the pastors do is say, okay, this is what it is. This is how you are supposed to live. This is how you're supposed to be. And they'll keep reiterating how everything else is bad and what we are teaching you is good. So they are conditioned to think, this isn't witchcraft. This isn't what the ancestors did. We don't believe in the ancestors as if ancestors did not exist. But they correlate ancestors to evil spirits and demons, and you don't know what you're welcoming into your house. And so they shut all of that stuff down and say that this is bad. When really we're doing the same things.
I'm so glad you said that. Listen, I'm so glad that you said that you don't know what you're welcoming into your house. Okay, then. So, and I can always use me. Me and my husband are very transparent, right? So then I can invite someone into my home who goes to church, who's seemingly living a Christ-like life. But when you step across my threshold and you see how my husband treats me, now you got that Jezebel spirit. Now you finna be flirting and giggling in my husband's face, playing with your life like that in my house. You understand what I know. Don't do me. Don't do me.
Did you say playing with your life?
Like that. Look, let me tell you
Because
something.
listen,
I got a good
at this point,
yes.
you are in a danger zone.
You are. You are. When you step across that threshold, step lightly, ma'am. Step lightly.
Yeah.
I have a very good husband, right? And you know, baby, if you not living right, if your husband not acting right, but you see mine is, well, now you want what I have. Until death do us part, baby, because that's the only way. That's the only way. And my friends have been instructed to keep them bald-headed bitches away from my husband if something ever happened to me. Yep. He will be single for the rest of his life because that ain't happening. I'll haunt this
because
place.
I said the same thing. I said I wish you would.
Yeah.
I would when I die, I wish you would get somebody else. When I die, you die too.
That part. Okay. My dog will be barking. People like, Mama is in here. She the one moving stuff. I know it's I see her. That
exactly.
Part. That part. Like I don't play about I don't. I told God, I said, listen, God, I said, whatever life you have for me, I'm okay with it. But I just want to know just about this much of what true love feels like, and I will cherish, honor it, and protect it with my life. Mm-hmm. If you'll just let me know what that feels like to be coveted by a man that really loves me, you know, that really is a man that is really wanting to be protective of me. It's like, God, I'll do whatever you tell me to do, go where you want me to go. But I just want that one thing before you take me out this world. And I promise you, this is the one thing that I will not squander. I promise you.
Yeah.
You know? And so, people know me well. They know, like, don't mess with him. Don't call his wife. You know, don't do it. So that's back to, you know, inviting into your house and stuff like that. You know, you have people who seem to be away, but then they got something in them that they don't. It ain't right.
Case in point. 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's one of my followers. Hi, Derek.
Oh, hey, Derek, because I was like, who's Derek? Okay.
Yeah, he tuned into the live. Hey, Derek. So shout out to Derek, my YouTube fam who's here. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
So there was this woman who I met at at the Botanica store that I go to where I get all of my crystals from.
Yeah.
She came up to me and I was looking at a new tarot deck.
Yeah.
And she came up to me. She was like, "What do you do?" Because I guess, I don't know, she felt whatever on me.
Yeah.
And I told her that I do tarot. I read tarot. And so she says, I would love to get a reading from you. Your aura just feels so good. And she's like really just boosting my ego and stuff. Not that I was really falling for it, but it was just like,
you know,
okay, I guess.
Stop playing.
Right. She said, you like fresh fruit. Right. You have this essence and this smell. And I'm just like, okay, maybe you're just enamored right now. So whatever.
Right.
She came over with her son and we did the reading, and she was also a seer. So she was trying to see into my life and peek into my life, which, you know, it was very awkward, and she didn't want to leave. She had, like I said, she had her son, and her son was acting up. So I asked my daughter to kind of hold her son. She was of the Caucasian persuasion.
Okay.
I don't know why that may matter, but this is the truth. She came, she don't know me, don't know who I am, don't, you know me from Adam. Dropped her son off, or not dropped her son off, but my daughter went in, came in and, you know, kind of babysat for her so she can get her reading and stuff like that. It was winding down time. It was like, she came like at 7. She didn't leave till like 10.
Okay.
And her son had fallen asleep.
Okay.
Hey, Andrea. Her
Oh,
son had fallen. That's one of my peoples too.
hey.
Yeah. Her son had fallen asleep, and I was like, okay, well, your son's asleep. And she was like, well, I can come get him in the morning.
The
And I was like,
morning.
ma'am, you don't know me. Not that I would bother with somebody's kids or beat them and shit, not like that, but you don't
Yeah,
know me to just leave your child. No, ma'am, take him with you. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
About 2 weeks later, when you talk about welcoming people into your home, because what she had left was a crystal like this. It's called Danubite. Danubite.
Yes.
She had left that a crystal like this, but
Mm-hmm.
I since became drawn to it, so that's why I have it with me.
Mm-hmm.
But she used that crystal as a portal because what this crystal does, um, it helps you to connect with the spirit realm.
Yes.
But what she did was use that crystal as a portal to bring in an incubus. I didn't know that at the time. So I'm sleeping
Ma'am.
and hmm,
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Why did she do that? This story finna get
right.
good. This story that got good.
So I'm sleep. Like I said, 2 weeks later, everything was fine. I was good. Wasn't nothing really bothering me. And I just thought it was a very odd reading. Um, Couple of days later, she had talked to me and was asking me about business stuff and whatever. And I was like, okay, telling her, little odds and ends or whatever about business. Like I said, 2 weeks later, I was asleep. I didn't know that it was incubus, but I was asleep. And I was sleeping on my side. And I felt my hand like go up like this.
Oh,
And then I felt the presence come in and try to hug me. And I was like, oh my God. And I woke up out of my sleep. I'm sleeping next to my husband. And I woke up out of my sleep and kind of, because I felt violated and I didn't know what that was. So I kind of like laid on him to like finish sleeping because I was scared. I didn't know what to think of that. The next night, or the next day, because they came like I slept well that night, but because it was during the weekend when it happened. So that next day, because on the weekends I'll wake up and then I go back to sleep.
yeah.
The next day I woke up, did my thing or whatever, went back to sleep. But this time, the incubus came and it turned me on my back because I'm a side sleeper or a stomach sleeper. It turned me on my back and it was like I was dreaming. And I had on this like black Barbie doll dress. And I was in a room with another female, and I was telling her, I don't like the way this dress looks. And right when I said that, a male came in and tried to have his way with me. So he put my hands up over my head like this, and he started to rub on my breasts and then went down to my vagina and was just like doing like this to my vagina. And I fought it off and I woke up. But when I woke up, I felt so violated. Like I've never been molested in my life. So I don't know what that feels like. Um, yeah. So
Oh, Lord.
I reached out to someone and they told me, they say, well, that sounds like an incubus. And I haven't heard the word incubus in so long. And
Right?
it didn't, because you never hear about that sort of
You
stuff
do
before,
not.
ever.
Oh,
So when I looked it up, I was like, oh my God, like this is what it is. So an incubus is a male sex demon. Male sex demons will come in if you are left unguarded, untreated. They come in and they have sex with you, whether
yep.
you like it or not.
Yep.
A succubus is the counterpart of the incubus as a female
Female
sex
version.
demon. The
Yeah.
females will,
Now you hear about
and what
those
have
more
you.
so. You hear about the
Yeah,
succubus.
you hear about,
Yeah.
right. You hear more about the succubus than you do the incubus, but
Yes.
the male one was sent to me. And what they do is to get you off focus and get you off track so
Yeah.
you won't grow in your spiritual gifts. And this is what that young lady did. She sent that incubus to me so I will stop. So she can take whatever power from me and she can, grow from my power. And so that's when I learned, okay, because my spirit guides and my elders was like, you need protection. You need protection. I'm like, I've been protecting myself. I've been wearing a crystal. It's like, no, you need something next to you at night when you're sleeping. You need to
Yes.
keep yourself protected. And I was like, I didn't realize what that meant, you know, and I didn't know what that meant. I thought I was doing the things. No, get back in it. So there was another time where there was another young lady. She had bought a crown for me.
Whew.
She was trying to beat me. She came in. We met on Instagram a couple of, maybe last year sometime. Then she connected with me on social media, on TikTok. She bought a crown for me. She stays here in Jacksonville.
Okay.
I asked her if she wanted me to mail it to her, or she could come pick it up.
Yeah.
She came and picked it up. But the way that she looked like she was up to no good. Like my spirit felt uneasy with her being here. And she was trying to beat me. She put on her crown in her video, tagged me in or whatever, but did the same things that I do.
Oh no.
And was doing, like, really trying to be me. And what she did also was leave a gift. The gift that she left was a bracelet. But that's what happens. That's the portal that they use to help them control you or break you down or whatever.
Yes.
She gave me the gift. I didn't put it on. I opened it up for her to see me look at it, but I never put it on. I cursed it, threw it in the trash in the ghetto.
Yeah.
The same thing with that crystal, cursed it, threw it in the trash in the ghetto. And I had to do a whole bunch of spiritual work after that, because I had to wash my floors down. I had to cleanse my whole house. Like I had to remove that spirits out of there. So you talk about, you don't know what you're inviting into your house. People will come in with their own agendas.
That part.
It's not about opening the spirit realm and bringing in spirits when you dabbling into spirituality. You got people who are just like you and me will come into your house and try to break you down.
Yes.
So it's not all about, what the Christianity and no, spirituality is a real thing. It is a real thing. So you have to be watchful all the time, whether you in spirituality or Christianity or voodoo or Hinduism, whatever.
Yeah.
You have to be watchful at all times, because somebody who has evil intentions for you will do what they need to do to get you to destroy you.
That is amazing. And it's amazing that you tell that story, because so anything that has ever come to you were taking possession of, was this a dream? I may have missed something. Oh.
So no, I wasn't taking possession of. It was a dream, but it was almost like not a dream, more so what's the word I'm looking for?
Do you think you were kind of in a trance or some sort, or just kind of
what's that word? Oh goodness, it's on the tip of my tongue. Like when you have outer body experiences. Astral projection.
Okay.
That's what it was. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. See that, and that's the crazy part about it. See, it doesn't really affect you until you know who you are, right? Until you start figuring out who you are. And I think that, like, more so now. So I'm sorry, y'all gonna hear the gardeners. He real loud right now. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's all good.
But I think you and then one other lady, and my godmother are the only ones that I allow in my energy field like that, right? Yeah. So, when I initially was introduced into my gifts, into spirituality, I didn't know who I was at all, right?
Yeah.
So when it was brought to my attention, anybody that has tried to read for me since then, I warned them. I'm like, listen, don't step into my energy field. Kind of to stay at the door. I'm like, because I will drain you, literally.
Yeah.
Anytime they've tried to step in, they've either been sick or tired. And usually they don't think I can hear it, but they're shuffling and they're like, oh my God. And I'm like, here we go with this oh my God stuff. And they're like, oh, okay. And they were like, do you know who you are or what you are? That's the term. They were like, do you know what you are? And I'm like, no clue, but I'm sure you're going to tell me at this point. And one guy, he does the Orisha readings, right? And so he was like, he's like, there's an Orisha that no one talks about. And he was like, that was the Orisha that was supposed to come and change the trajectory of the world. Like they're here to restore balance. And he was like, you're that Orisha. I was like, the hell I am. I cuss too much for this. I said, hell no. I'm just trying to mind my own black business. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, sir, that's too much pressure. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and there have been times like, and I've done this since I was a child. If I have beef with somebody, anything you've given me, I've thrown it in the trash. Like, it's just something I automatically do. I throw it away because I feel like you sending evil stuff attached to whatever it is you gave me. And I literally don't care what it is. I had someone who I thought was a friend. She gave me this beautiful Isis cup in the trash. Don't care. You're not finna send something to watch me. You know, there have been times my husband has told me the next morning, he said, I don't know what you had going on, but he said, I had to bear hug you. He said, because you were just twitching and jerking. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I'm gonna tell you this, in my dream, it felt like somebody was trying to pull my soul out of my body, and then came downstairs the next day and my candle was completely black at the top. Black. Anytime my candles are black, like the pictures I sent you, there's something goes on in my dream or while I'm sleeping. I have had the Grim Reaper touch my leg. I have felt the hand grab for my leg. I have been pulled, even in the bed next to my husband. I've seen the covers go up and my leg being snatched in the bed while he's in a deep sleep. I have been shoved in front of my friend's house. Like, I felt hands push me. I have had that happen. My God, how many times have I been tried to, you know, coming into this world was rough. Anybody that knew my mother when she was pregnant with me was 4 days labor, 4 days in labor with me. Yes, they kept telling her, well, no, your water didn't break. So when I say I fought all my life, I meant that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so when you go through those near-death experiences all through your life, you start to gain some gifts here and there. And a lot of times, I've tried to use cards to read a person. I can't. I can just look at you and be like, okay, so this is X, Y, and Z going on, you know, with you. We have had portals try to open up. My husband has taken pictures of them. He's like, what's going on upstairs? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not upstairs. So he sends me a picture and I'm like, okay, you just freaked me out. I have had shadows run past me and go upstairs, and my dog has run up the stairs barking at it, you know, because he's looking at me like, what was that? You know what I'm saying? So like, and I've had my house cleansed like so many times, it's ridiculous. So at this point, we're like, okay, this is just a passageway. They're just passing through in our house. Yeah. You know, I have had someone curse objects and I was having all kind of issues. So I figured out who it was, and I've thrown the crystal out the window going to work. I'm like, you can have it. You know, you can have it. I don't want it. We're good. You know, I've had them little, you know, them little tiny demons that, you know, the little short ones, they run up to you. I've had that happen. I've had so many crazy things happen. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not exactly just a normal person. I'm very peculiar at this point, you know, but they are scared of my husband. The activity stops when he comes into the house. But when he's asleep, that's when they get to, you know, playing around, because I'll toss and turn all night. You know, and I'm like, Lord, I'm like, what is it in the room now? What do you want? You know, so I've been like literally scratched and attacked. And I'm like, God, what the hell is happening? So, you know, I don't let everybody in my house now because of that. I really just, I don't. Like, you can't visit. Like, we'll meet somewhere, but you can't come in my house because I don't know what you have going on. Yeah. You know, and, you know, like I was saying with old girl that, you know, I had to cut her off. I thought she was a friend, Mama Goddess. And one thing you don't do is giggle in my husband's face. He's not a comedian. He never has been. He not fucking funny. He is not funny. What the fuck you laughing at? I'm looking at him like, oh, I want to know the joke. I didn't know I married Chris Rock. What the hell? You know? And then you call my husband without my permission. Girl, I'm gonna end up on death row. I promise I am. Don't do that. Man. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. You have a whole ass daddy. Mm-hmm. Call him or call Jesus. It's a prayer can reach many things. It just does. You know what I'm saying? Girl, don't do that. And then when I finally realized what she was trying to do, I was like, yeah, you gotta go. Without explanation, you get cut off. You get cut off. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, and it's just like nowadays you be like, girl, I don't know what spirit you got on you, but you need to either learn some protection spells or something. Cause I'm telling you, don't play, you know? So it's gotten to the point where when you deal with some Christians, they make you feel bad because you're like, well, I have this gift. I can see, I can do this, I can do that. There's been times I've had to tell my aunt, I'm like, well, those crystals on that breastplate, that's in the Bible, Auntie. Well, where is it? Because I want to see. It's here, here, and here. I said those diamonds that you're
As a
wearing.
matter of fact.
Yeah, it's like that diamonds that y'all are wearing. That is a crystal. You know,
Mhm.
I get a lot of people looking at my necklace. So if y'all don't know what this is Moldavite and Herkimer. So yeah, Moldavite
I
and
like
Herkimer.
it.
Yes, not a lot of people can wear this and survive it. So a lot of fire signs, which is what I am, I can wear it with no problem. You know,
Me too.
yeah, I don't. It doesn't bother me. But if somebody goes to grab or hug me, they immediately like, whoa, you know, like, hold on. I'm like, that's what you get for trying to step in my energy field. I told you, this is why I don't hug
You're gonna
people.
get burned. Stop
Yeah,
up, back up.
like literally.
What's
You
your
know,
what's your sign?
I'm a Sagittarius, a for real one. I told
What's
you
your
that.
really?
Yes, I'm a double digit one at that, so I'm super powerful. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When is your birthday?
12. Yep, 12. Born at 12. So when I say people are like, do you know what you are? It's like, not exactly. But go ahead and tell me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Without even being initiated into Ifa, I can pretty much tell you who my who's over his head. I can see him. You know,
Wow.
I know who's over mine. You know, but I don't want to disrespect the religion of Ifa by claiming it. You understand what I'm saying? There's a certain respect level that I try to have, you know, with that. And if anybody doesn't know what Ifa is, you know, you just research the Yoruban people, and that is literally the original Christianity. And I tell people, our Orishas are your saints, are your saints.
Yeah.
They're here. They're named something different over here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all the same.
They're all interchangeable when they, especially, you know, like when they have Palo Mayambe, when you have Ifa, when you have Voodoo, Voodoo, like they're all the same deities. They all have different names based off the culture.
They do.
Same thing with because I did a short video about the angels and the Orishas.
Yes.
Like was it Michael? Was it Michael?
Now he's the one, y'all. If y'all don't know about Michael, he about that life, y'all. He going to battle first.
Michael is the messenger God, and he is equivalent to like in Santeria, he's equivalent to Elegua. In Voodoo is Papa Legba. In Voodoo is Papa Legba. It's all, they're the messenger. They're the same thing, which Christianity bit from, you know, spirituality. And that's why you have the angels instead of the Orishas. But they're all literally the same.
Yes.
And they do the same things.
Same exact thing. Same exact
but
thing.
But people don't realize it because this is what they've been taught.
Right. And they don't know. And then they have to remember that this is a lifestyle. And I don't know about you, but I see a lot of people pull out that book of Psalms, you know, that little blue book that we all have. And I remember in the live that you did, I was like, this is just not an average book. This is a lifestyle. You are following the book of Psalms, and anything that it tells you to do, this is something you have to commit yourself to. Like when I tell most people I'm a devotee of St. Jude. St. Jude has not let me down. St. Expedite don't really fool with me like that. But St. Jude, St. Expedite was like, here, don't call me no more. Literally. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Cool. No problem. St. Jude is a little bit. Yeah. St. Jude, he's like, oh, okay, what we got going on? What do I need to do? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I am like, okay, yeah, we can work together, you know. So yeah, that's who I use, you know. I am familiar with Kali Ma. Kali Ma loves my husband. She just does, and I'm fine with that. You know, when she wanna be excited, great. That's fine. You know, and she's in the Hindu. Yeah, you know. So, but I feel like as Christians, I've told a lot of Christians, if you're going to proclaim to love everyone, then you should learn all religions. You should learn about them, so that way, if you say you love somebody, you really do love them. You know, because you can't force your belief system on someone who's not of that culture. And I've had to tell people that, like, how dare you force what you believe on someone who did not culturally grow up that way? You know, like why would you do that? What do you say? never find their
Bless both of
path.
y'all.
Oh, thank you so
And that's a
much.
shame.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I had to be okay with being who I am. Like I told my dad, I said, well, Dad, if we have voodoo in our family, I said, you know, we were probably Yoruban, Congo, Fon, or Haitian. I said, which all of them together, that's a force to be reckoned with, you know. But you know, I just as really still learning. I think that even under your guidance, like as we do the lives and stuff like that, you learn a tolerance for a lot of things. Like you learn kindness, which is what Christianity should be built on, but it's not. Just like your story about being, you know, ostracized in the church for being pregnant. Without saying her name, there was a young lady at church and she was being accused of a lot of things in the church. And when I tell you, she didn't say a mumbling word, Mama Goddess, never said a word. She came to church as if nothing was wrong. When I say she can dress, honey, she can dress. Baby, she can dress. And I had to tell her one day, I said, if you didn't think anybody was watching, I was watching. And I feel like if you could go through that in a mega church, people talking about you and not knowing what you were going through, like you not having two nickels to rub together, but you never look like what you were going through. I said, if you can get through that, I can get through anything. You know, it's like I watched you. And I think that's what it needs to be. Like you Christians that are watching, that's what it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Pray for the person, love the person, but don't sit up here and ostracize somebody.
Yeah.
Just because somebody is
my biggest thing.
They have to be married. What the hell is that?
You bringing a new life into this world, regardless of how society told you how it should be.
Exactly.
God sends you these children at the time that He sends them to you.
Yes.
It's up to you to accept it or abort it. Okay, but He did what He was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or Mother Earth, or Source, whoever you say God is, who you feel God is to you. That's just what it is.
Yes.
When I was in Christianity, that was my biggest thing, is that I didn't want. I tried to accept everybody and meet everybody where they were. Yes. It wasn't me trying to pull people in and try to make them. All I was supposed to do was just live my life as an example. See, if you don't follow the party line and question something, at that point, you're a Claritin. A charlatan. That is a medicine.
Listen, we all probably need it with this weather change, child.
Right. But their path is supposed to be of love, tolerance, and understanding. The irony, they'll disown you. Exactly. And that was my biggest thing, is that I've always tried to accept people for where they were, because I'm not everybody. We are all individuals. And so we all are struggling with something. None of us have made it. But some people in Christianity feel like they made it and they can just tell you what you're doing wrong, point out your flaws, point out your little dots and stuff that's in your white cloth, to say, oh, I see a little wrinkle here. You might want to get that together. And then they put their problems onto you, even if you wasn't even feeling like that. But they created all of these rules and restrictions and all of this stuff when Jesus just called for you to love.
Exactly.
Love isn't mean. Love isn't boisterous. Love isn't harsh. Love isn't in your face. Love isn't passive aggressive. Like none of that. But this is what y'all do in the sake of, I'm a child of God and God called me to do this, and this is why I am here today, and this is why I need to tell you this, because God told me to tell you.
Wait a minute, pause. Let's talk about that real fast. I have always told people, don't come telling me what God told you to tell me, because God talked to you, He can talk to me. I don't want to hear nothing from your raggedy ass. He'll tell me.
God told you, He had already confirmed it with me. So what you're telling me is nothing different. It's just confirmation. So if you telling me something that doesn't confirm for me or resonate with me, that means God ain't tell you that.
That part.
This is you talking.
That part.
This is unfamiliar.
Exactly. You are definitely an unfamiliar. And look, and this is gonna be my line. I'm gonna put it on a t-shirt and I might brand it. Don't play with your life like that. Don't be telling me what God told you to tell me. And God probably like, nah, I ain't even told that fool to go up to her.
I know where they got that from.
Why you playing with her like that? If you were so gifted, you would have known not to walk up to her with that. If you're so gifted.
If you would have been using your discernment.
Right. Then you would have known to go on to your car, Brother Larry, and go home. Because I'm just saying. Or somebody be like, oh, can I pray for you? No. No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you.
Heavy on the no, thank you. Have a blessed day, though.
Yeah. Yeah. That part. Like, don't.
Go to
And
your
I think,
secret closet.
right. And they be like, I'm going to my prayer closet. Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Cool.
Just don't mention my name.
You say my name, I'm gonna know about it, and I'm gonna burn a candle just for you. Doom candle. No, I'm kidding, I promise. Listen, I told myself I was gonna bring that up today. I said, because she stayed fussing at me about that candle, boy.
I'm not even gonna repeat what that is because I ain't gonna tell nobody else about it.
Because I said I'm
like, you ready to pull that bad boy out.
It was in my cart, honey. It was in my cart. And I said, oh, she not gonna know. She ain't gonna know. And I just knew that you wasn't gonna find out. And you were like, now, Beatrice, you know there's a warning. You ain't supposed to be. You gonna be in trouble. They said don't do it. Y'all, that's how she be talking to me. She talked to only me like that. Now you know you're not supposed to do that. And y'all, she got these like hazel eyes, right? So she get real close to the camera, like, now you know better. You know you're gonna get in trouble. And I be trying to type fast when she talking like shit. Like, I told my husband, I said, why she in my business? Why she in my business like that? I almost had it. I almost hit send too. I almost bought it. Oh, you know what? This little Jiminy Cricket here, I can't do nothing. And she gonna be all up in my business. Like, now why you do that? I be like, I ain't even tell you what I did. I said, damn it, she found
here
out.
You are.
Yeah, here I am. And you figured it out. And I was like, well, shit. Okay. That's all I could say. As I took it out my cart.
Listen, I told my husband, I said, now I done told him about this doom kind, and I should not have brung it up. And I say, there's this one young lady. She gives me the work, honey. She makes me work for it.
And I do.
I say, but she went ahead and took it on all that she.
Because, honey, let me tell you something. I was gonna get it. I was gonna get it. Because if one more person had called me a witch around here, I'm like, I got your damn witch.
You ain't said nothing but a word.
Right, because if you thought I was a witch, then you would know to leave me the hell alone. But yet here you are playing with fire. And that's why I think that you probably already answered this question. It's like when I was getting ready to ask, like, do you think modern day Christians are brainwashed? They are. Their lack of tolerance is what baffles. Yeah, it's what bothers me the most. And that's the unwillingness to learn. Yeah, it just is. It just is. And listen, I'm probably gonna lose some followers for this, but I don't care. Y'all stop having these prophets come to this church and have a throne for them. Why you do that? For what? Is he God? Because the same thing that I can see in a person and they pay me for it is the same thing that y'all pay him for or her. So what's the difference? Like, what do you think the justification is for the difference? Because that's what gets my goat the most. But somebody like me is evil, but that person isn't. They're doing the same thing.
Because it's just like how, like me as a reader, how do you know you're being led wrong?
Oh, I'm gonna let you answer first because I got a good answer.
May you rephrase that question because I want to make sure that I understand it. How do I know that I'm not being led wrong? Is that maybe what the question that you're trying to get, like you're trying to ask?
No, this BJ we talking about. He meant it exactly how he typed it. This BJ we talking about.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how to. I have an answer, but I don't know. May you ask that again? Let me study this for a minute. Let me see.
Okay, so he
Let's
said
cut that deep.
Christians are brainwashed. They are.
How do you know they're being led wrong? Because what happens with Christians when they're being brainwashed, they pick up this like dogmatic persona,
Yes.
and everything that they say is right,
Mhm.
and everything that you say is wrong.
Yes.
And because of that, I have the authority to tell you what's right, and you
Yes.
need to listen to me.
Yeah.
We can go back and forth all day about who's right and who's wrong. Because what if I'm wrong, and what if they're right? What if they're wrong and I'm right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not about who's right, because that's what the division comes from. It came from who was right and what was right and what should be taught.
Mhm.
I talked about this in one of my videos, and how everything, again, with historian, we go back to, the Council of Nicaea
Mhm.
and Arius, and how it started this whole big division within the Protestant churches and the Eastern churches and all of these different churches. And they was like, well, we do it this way. And then the Protestants said, well, we do it this way. And what you're doing is wrong. You should be doing it like this. And so now we have all of these different types of religions.
Yeah.
Because we talk about Christianity because that's one of the main three religions that are practiced the most.
Yes.
But there are over 4,200 religions.
Yes.
Okay, let's just put that out there.
Tell it.
So who knows who's right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's what resonates with you.
Yeah.
We gotten so caught up in about who's right and who's supposed to be doing and who's supposed to be doing that. Whatever resonates with you, because when it comes down to who's right, it's all about who's going to heaven and who's going to hell.
Right.
So I'm doing right because I'm going to heaven, and you're going to hell because you're doing wrong.
Right.
But when you look at spirituality and all of these things, because heaven and hell is a man-made concept.
And let the church say, amen.
Okay. It is a man-made concept. So if I'm right, I'm going to heaven. If I'm wrong, I'm going to hell. But you have different types of heaven and hells in all 4,200 religions. So who's to say who's doing what? What if I'm supposed to be, if I was Christian, what if I was supposed to be a Hindu? If maybe to the Hindu, maybe people who are Hindu, who practice Hinduism, look at Christianity as a big no-no. People who practice Judaism are looking at Christianity like that's a no-no. So you got all of these different types of things. Who can really decipher who's right?
Right.
You have all of these different practices.
Right. And then you have the Jehovah's Witness that feel like only a certain number is going to go to heaven. Listen, I tell most people don't come to my door because I'm going to tell you I worship the devil just so you can get you away from my door.
Please.
Look, y'all know I joke around and I play around. Hell. Y'all know that.
They approached me this morning at the gas station. Here, I just want to spread the good news. There's so much stuff going around. You want to take this pamphlet? No, I don't. Have a good day.
Right.
I don't get up. I'm trying to pump my gas going back. I don't want this.
Right.
I know where to find it.
That part. And unless you want me to douse you in fire, get the hell on. I got this gas pump for you. You should have known I wasn't gonna act right now. Shoot.
And I got this lighter. What you want to do?
Right.
Okay.
Play with it. You gonna meet Jesus or whoever, Jehovah. You gonna meet him. Get away from me with that.
Get out of my face.
Seriously. And stop waking me up early in the morning. I work all week long. Why are you at my door?
Why are you up at this time, up and active at this time of day?
Right. And then folks get all offended and be mad because you say stuff like that. They be like, listen, God made laughter for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He made it for
everything got to be serious.
Right. Lighten the hell up. Come on now. I just say that when he made me, he was talking and dropped all that sass in my bucket.
Yeah, he did.
Dropped the whole cup.
Yeah, so.
Yep, he did. Yeah, he's like, oh shoot, too much. Well, too late.
Well, it's already in there now.
Too late. It's there, And I honestly, even for me to answer BJ's question, when you're being led wrong, when things aren't going smoothly. When you're uncomfortable. It's an internal feeling. You know, you know that you're being led wrong when you have to question every single last thing you're being told. You're sitting there like, well, wait a minute, that don't sound right. You know what? Well, hold on. Well, why is that messing with my free will? And if anybody is on TikTok, and if you don't watch Jasmine's Garden, she did a video about how if God gives you free will, if you don't choose what he wants, why, then why give free will? Isn't that a form of control?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she would really push the narrative. And I love that. I love the fact that people will make you think about stuff. And as long as you can stay under a cloud, then it's okay. And I feel like that is what Christianity, they do. They want to keep you up under here, and they don't want you questioning anything, because right is right and wrong is wrong. A minister told me that whole shacking term wasn't even in the Bible. I said, hold on.
It's
what?
Not.
And he was like, it's not in there. I said, you lying. He said, no, for real. He said, it's not in there. He said, how many concubines did these religious people have?
That part.
He was like,
Solomon alone had 300 concubines.
Right. And then, like I told my older sister, I said, baby, listen. I said, that homosexuality thing wasn't added until the 60s. I said, it was the pedophilia that they wanted to cover up. Thank you, Roman Catholic Church, because it was y'all that did it.
That part.
Stop messing with them little boys. Stop.
They don't want to keep talking about that.
Listen, stop blaming.
Countless people who coming out telling their stories about how they were molested by the priest.
Yes. Even I was telling my husband, I was watching the Boy Scouts of America documentary. I'm about to be in tears just watching it. You watching grown men boo-hoo. You know what I'm saying? But yet, you have different religions that have attached themselves, and you're okay with that. But you want to blame it on someone being homosexual. Leave them people alone.
Right.
Leave them alone. They love who they love. They ain't bothering you. They're not bothering you. Why you got to bother them? Because at the end of the day, let me tell y'all something. Y'all better stop messing with them. At the end of the day, a man is still a man. He's still a man. That part ain't left him. You understand what I'm saying?
I think that's the reason why, not say the reason, but I think one of the reasons why people come hard for people who are homosexual is because they, like you said, back in the Roman Catholic Church, and they still do it today. They molest these kids, and they equate that to homosexuality because these men was messing with these little boys.
Yeah.
So now all homosexuals are.
They must be bad.
They must be bad. And that's not the case. But again, that's just like, with spirituality, how everything has been now turned bad because y'all want to hide. But what I found interesting too is that these same people who don't like or who was banned spirituality are the same people who go to these people for help.
Girl.
How many people have come to Marie Laveau for help? For all these witch doctors and all this stuff, but no, don't practice. But y'all know that these witch doctors and people have this power.
Do you know?
So you're gonna go to the people who have that power, but in the same breath say, no, I don't. We can't.
That part. Do you know how many people come to me to unhex them? I stay busy unhexing people. I do. I honestly do. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how most people think. Matter of fact, it's one of my clients calling me now. Her husband was hexed. And I was like, ma'am, he ate something. So now we have to, figure this out,
That's all of that.
But but it's just like, but what I try to explain to her, I'm like, this work ain't going to happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight when it happened to him. So in order for us to reverse it, it's a process, but yeah, I get people calling me all the time to explain stuff, or either like I can look at their kid and be like, your kid is gifted, right? Like your baby's been here before, and can naturally just do it. When I tell you, I envy y'all that can read cards because they trip me up. They just do.
What I've learned is that everybody has their own spiritual gifts.
Yeah.
Just like in the natural world. Some people can be doctors, some people can be lawyers, some people can be firefighters, some people can
Yes.
be hairdressers.
Yeah.
Somebody can be a hairdresser and looking at somebody else like, oh, I wish I could be a firefighter. Somebody can be a firefighter and look at the hairdresser, oh, I wish I could do my own hair. We all have our own gifts, and that same thing translates into spirituality. Some people can read, some people can read palms, some people can read the cards, some people don't even read the cards at all. Some people are intuitive, some people can get messages by looking at a crystal ball, some people can just look at pictures and say, so everything.
I can do that.
See, and I can't.
Yeah.
Some people can use playing cards. Some people can see things in bones. But there's a bunch of different ways to divinate. It's just what resonates with you. But it's just, it all comes together though in spirituality. Like we all do this to help each other.
Yeah. I'm good, Rosie. How are you? This weather got this hair looking a little shrinkage, but and Mama Goddess done went and cut her hair off, and it's already longer than mine. Make me sick.
Actually, this is a good crochet. I put crochets in my hair when I went to New Orleans.
So you lived your best life when you went out there.
I did. Just
swinging it, huh? Yeah, mine ain't doing that right now. It's just stiffing it. That's what it's.
Mine's gonna be right because I'm gonna take this out this weekend, and we can be right back to the.
I get tired of people in my head. It's like, you know what? My husband knows how to part some hair, so listen, sir, part this real quick so I can twist this up. Because
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yes. So I ended up having gifts I didn't even want. I was like, do what now? And I'm like, seriously, do that? I'm like, trust me, you guys, like in spirituality, there are things that we do not want to do. We don't have control over the gifts that we're given. And sometimes God will give you multiple gifts, which bring jealous people. So you really have to be selective about who's in your circle, because when they know these things about you, they try to like duplicate you, or they try to sabotage someone, or they try to leave something somewhere so they can see what you're doing, So I wish I could just read cards. I wish I could. I mean, I have the hoodoo deck. I got another deck. I have a Kalima Oracle. Them things just sitting there collecting dust. It's like, they do nothing for me.
Wow.
Nothing.
There's another type of thing that you can use too with tea leaves. I forget what it's called, but I have that. Like someone gifted that to me, and I was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." I don't know how to read that. I cannot do the things.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it just kind of came to me reading the tarot deck. I had the deck for like 2 years before I actually opened it, because I didn't know how to read it and what to do with it. And I was actually kind of scared of it, because I was still kind of like finding my way and everything like that. So I was like, but one day somebody asked me, one of my mentors, they asked me if I read cards. And I was like, I mean, I have a deck.
Right.
I aspire to one day.
Right.
And she's like, okay, I'm going to teach you crash course, because you got a gig in 2 days and you need to figure this out right now. And I was like,
wow.
What?
Wow.
So she sent me, she sat down, we went to a park, and we went over the cards, and she was trying to pull them, but she pulled them out. And I'm sitting here like, she's like, now read me. And I was like, okay, this card means that, what do you get out of it? And I was like, I mean, I see knives.
Yeah.
I see the number 10. I see this picture. Like, I'm literally like, I don't see anything from what I'm looking at. I don't know what you're talking about. And so she was like, it's okay, you'll get it.
Yeah.
And what it comes with like a little booklet for you to understand. I'm like, how do they get that from that? Like, that don't even make sense.
Exactly.
But they had sent me a video of tarot readers for beginners, and it had a whole layout from cards, from all 78 cards, and she had like different videos to talk about each of the suits of the cards.
Yeah, you sent that to me.
Yeah, absolutely. When I tell you, everything for me started to make sense. Like, she was going through it from the beginning all the way down to 78, and it was and I laid the cards out as she was reading them. And I mean, as she was explaining them, I'm laying the cards out. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
then after that, we went to this gig where they was having like a big event that they have once a year.
Mm-hmm.
People come, it's a big money event, so all of the white people there.
Yeah.
And so I was nervous as hell trying to like,
I
what
bet.
I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna do it, what's gonna happen. But I started laying those cards down. I wasn't 100% confident, but when I started just talking and letting it flow, like everything was just coming out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God. So the more I started doing it, the better I got at it.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning these cards because there's so much more to learn from them. Like because they bring out different things, and as you're reading different people from those cards, you begin to understand more of
Yes.
what you're seeing and what your intuition is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
yeah,
I encourage people
I'll
to do
send you that video.
Yes, because I had a lady gift me a deck which explains like the number, the elements that are attached to it, the actual card. It's a beautiful deck. And I was like, okay, I can kind of connect with it. But the crazy part about it is I read herbs a lot better than I can a deck. So you can put me in a room full of herbs and I'm like, okay, you need this, 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 and this is how you need to use it without having to think about it.
Wow.
Literally it's like it's second nature for me. So the cards, they're in my bag, but I mean, I don't have to, I don't, like my husband asked me for a reading one time. I said, what? I'm married to you. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I feel like something going on. He's like, but I need to know what it is. I'm like, well, why can't you just ask somebody else? You sure? And he was like, no, I'm
get somebody else to do it.
I'm sweating like I'm sweating now. I was like, Lord have mercy. God, what did he say?
Then I just jumped from one page to another and I heard a lady gives me a.
God, you know what? You're nasty. You're nasty. Yeah, see yourself out, sir. Get out. Get out. He just nasty. He all, It's, you know what?
I just see myself out.
That's what he wanted to hear. That's what he wanted. Ain't nobody being nasty. Ain't nobody being nasty at all. He think it's funny. He think it's funny. Okay, one more question because y'all, we could talk about this all day, but Mama Goddess has stuff to do. Okay, so last question. Do you think the church is now more for show than it is for saving souls? And what
when
makes
I left, it was
souls need to be saved? Like, what is it about a person that makes them think that their soul needs to be saved? Like,
for one, that's what they've been taught. But I really do think it's about when I left. I don't know what the church is what's going on now. I have an idea because I was around a bunch of church folks this weekend, and it was for a show. But it is very much for a show. They do this to cover up what they got going on in their personal lives.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard the pastor is sleeping with somebody else, or the minister of music is out smoking and drinking Saturday night and come to church on Sunday doing the things? Like, it's all for a show because the church is a business.
It is.
They do this to get paid. So there's a part of entertainment behind all of this.
Oh yeah.
And they have to do what they have to do to get this money. If they don't put on a show, they're not getting paid. Getting paid means the offering collecting, people throwing money on the altar. That's the revenue behind it. Yes. And then you have the collection plate come around, or offering time, because back in the day it was a collection plate coming around, or in the older church, in smaller churches you got the plate being passed around, but in the mega churches you got offering time. People come in, you'll have this line and you'll go put your money in and all of that stuff. Well, now they got envelopes. It's probably Cash App now, so I don't know.
You can pay online now. You can pay online. Do your tithe, which you do a whole show on tithing. How people keep saying.
I wish there was an online thing when I was in church. It was more convenient than trying to get cash all the time, or they had some type of debit something, because it was cash. What?
Yeah, cash or a check or something, and then it take them 3 months to damn cash it. It's like, oh my God. Just
Take
cash
the money
out.
out before I don't have it.
Right.
But it is very much for show.
Mm-mm.
The reason why they feel like people's soul need to say it doesn't have nothing to do with the person's soul, but everything to do with them to make
Yes.
themselves feel good that they've done their part in serving God
Yeah.
by winning souls, because that's what
Right.
it was all about. It's about winning souls. So it's
Mhm.
not that my soul needs to, that you care about my soul salvation. It's
Yeah.
just that it's a feather in your cap because you were the one who helped me get to the other side.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the individual whose
Exactly.
soul needs saving. This whole thing was about you. It
Exactly.
wasn't about me. You don't
Yeah.
care about my soul. You don't
Right.
care where it lands. You don't care what happens afterwards. You don't care. This is all for you.
Mhm. And see, BJ talking about how the church, and that's another thing with the church, they feed the kids and the homeless and stuff. My thing is, are you really doing it from the heart? Because if it's a photo op for
Right.
you, I don't want no part of it. I don't want any part of it, because guess what? We are all one paycheck away from being in that very position. So for you to be taking pictures like that, that is very inappropriate. And then why do you have to sit up and talk and brag about it? That's not of God.
Just do it in a hush. Right.
It's not of God, but yet someone that can see things naturally, they're not of God, but yet you are in your vanity mode, and you have to, you've got to let everybody know what you're doing. You just have to, because you feel like it wasn't accomplished if you don't tell people, or if you don't. Exactly. And then a lot of times, to be honest with you, I turn my hearing off and people be like, well, the word of God is this, and God this, God that. It's like, oh, okay, so you one of those. Okay, I'm finna go over here. Because I follow my heart, and then I ask God directly, what you want me to do in this situation? What you want me to do? Because, sir, I can't. And then you got people like, well, God's a woman, whatever. As long as he wakes me up in the morning, we're good. We're on good terms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, one of them things. And again, you get people thinking that we're evil and stuff, but yet me and my evil self can pray you up under a table. This minister that you get on that altar and fall out and lay out ain't even praying for you. They're praying on you, But me, a spiritual worker, literally wants whatever is in you that is making you uncomfortable, that is causing you to not be your best self. We got to get that out, And a lot of times people come to my store. I'm like, why don't you step through my store where we're now family? So I go through what you go through. I take on what you got going on. You understand what I'm saying? I'm concerned about you at night because, I want you to live your best life and be your most highest self, but you can't be that way until you come up out of the bondage that you're holding yourself in, because essentially it's not God doing it to you. He's already forgiven you, right? It's what they want us to believe, right? So you're holding yourself in bondage. If we're supposed to reach our higher conscious self, then that means isn't God in all of us? I don't really need to go to church to learn from someone who's teaching me just their own perspective of what they're reading.
Right.
If God is in me and God is in everything, then I shouldn't have to leave my chair. I shouldn't. So, people are flawed. And if you go into a situation knowing that person is flawed, you only can pray that, okay, God, I really hope that you're really using this person to reach, and you get people that are like, I just want to be more like God. Are you sure? Because do you want to make the decision if someone has to live or die? Do you want to make the decision to go over someone's contract? And when they sign their contract, they signed up to die in a violent way. Do you want to be that kind of God? Because everybody talks about this book of life, right? And they're like, well, when you get to heaven, you got to answer for the book of life. No, actually, you're going over your contract that you signed. And if you're looking at your contract, God is like, oh, you skipped something. Now you got to go back. I done been back 12 times. Now, if I don't get it right this time, now, hell, stop sending me back. 12?
I'm trying.
12? Damn. Ooh. Like, come on.
Oh, goodness.
Much. So yes, like I said, I can talk to you all day long, but I'm not going to hold you up. But I promise you, I have to say, this is one of my most favorite shows. Like I really,
Oh,
it didn't feel like we've been talking for this long. Like it really felt like this is just two friends talking, you know.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah, I definitely appreciate you taking the time out to grace my show. I definitely do. And I just thank you for your gift. I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you the same thing I told the young lady that went through, you know, what she went through at church. We see you. We see how you deal with things, and we see how you deal with it with grace. So if you think no one has learned and no one's blessed, we are. And we thank you, all of us that subscribe, you know, and we get to talk to you, you know, in a more intimate setting, you know.
Yeah.
We definitely thank you, because it is our, you know, our little family away from home.
It is.
So,
It is.
you know, and I definitely enjoy your advice. Child, you be having me worried these last few weeks though. Ooh, you've been strapping. I got an extra gray hair messing with you. Good God. I'm like, she really want this afro to be great.
Ooh, honey.
She wants to be great. You know, we're gonna get through. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I told my husband, I was like, you know, we're gonna have to rest because we're gonna be busy. So we need to get all the rest we can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yes. But I thank you so much for coming on my show. Thank you so much. I cannot say that enough. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for considering me, for even thinking of me for your show. That's a big thing. I appreciate, like I tell y'all all the time, that I appreciate y'all for trusting me, because like I said, you don't, even in spirituality, you got to watch who you're letting into your energetic field, because not everybody, just like in Christianity and any other type of religion, you still have evil people. You still have people who allow evil spirits to rule their lives, and they want to destroy other people's lives. So it's easy to get caught up, especially if you're new into spirituality, to you know, be looking for this one, and talking to this one, and talking to this one, and believing what they said, because what they said to you resonated at the time. So you're like, oh, they must be right, only for you to turn around and find out, dang, you know what I'm saying? So for you all to trust in me in that way, it really, really means a lot to me. And I thank y'all. I thank y'all so much. Because I knew I needed to find my people. I didn't know where I was going to find my people. I almost did not do TikTok at all. And my husband, he was like, you need to go on TikTok. You need to do the TikTok. I was like, because I'm looking at everybody else doing the TikTok, you know, being tarot readers on the TikTok. I'm like, this is so green. But from what I was seeing, they were doing like the yes or no questions. If my husband do this, yes, no, no. And I'm like, I don't want to. That's not me. Like, I don't want to do that. And if that's what I have to do to, you know, get clients, I don't want to do that. But it feels like, just be yourself. And I was like, okay. Yeah. I don't know where this is going to lead, but it led me to you all. And we've all been building our community around it. So I can't wait to meet y'all in person, though. It's going to be
and you gonna get to meet my smart ass husband. Whoo, that chocolate thing there. I'm telling you, y'all be seeing. Listen, I'm for real. He fine as hell though. He a silver fox, honey. You know when they be chocolate with that.
Ooh, girl.
Yes, I'm like, Lord. Let me tell you, you boy.
See, that's why they be out. I see why you got the.
Yes.
You got to carry that machete with you, huh?
And I do.
Behind him.
I stay ready. No, not mine. Go find you one. Them other ones be talking about, he got a brother. Hell no.
No, because I don't even want you to get that close. Nope.
At all.
Matter of fact, he's the only child.
Look, and he only boy out of girls at that. So good luck.
Right.
Good luck. It ain't happening. If you want his daddy, he's single. But he, listen, y'all, no, his daddy's a savage.
You want a zaddy?
I mean, his daddy is a savage. That thing, you be like, what he say? You know, like,
No,
like, something wrong with your dad. Yes, but y'all, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. And the advice I'm going to leave you with, the fastest way to peace is to stay out of situations that you were not invited to. That is the quickest path to peace. Okay? Mind your business and you'll stay gray hair free.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
Yes. So you guys have a wonderful evening. And we gonna head out. We gonna enjoy our weekend. Ashe and namaste. Peace.